Okay, so we have completed last class the coverage interval. Next is reporting. Then is the procedure. So after computing the coverage interval, how do you finally report the result? So this is a very small topic, reporting uncertainty. So this we have already discussed. So in the earlier days, there were no standards. So people had to come up with their own methods of reporting the result. So when you report a measurement result, err on the side of providing more information. If you have doubt whether it should be told or not, you include it. Okay. So err on the side of providing more information. Describe methods used to calculate the result and uncertainty. How did you calculate the result? How did you calculate the uncertainty? So describe how you did that. List all uncertainty components and how they were evaluated. So here the general equation, and here each component how they were calculated. So for example, if you are measuring the area of a room, you measured so length and breadth. So how did you measure how did you compute the uncertainty in length? So that is this uncertainty components and how they were evaluated. So you assumed uniform distribution, etc. All this should be mentioned here. Present data analysis so that independent calculation can be repeated. So give the complete data so that somebody else can cross-check your results. So this is important. So that's why nowadays the test reports, calibration reports are all very big. I have given a sample report provided by Fluke for our platinum resistance thermometer. So give the complete analysis. Give all corrections and constants used and their sources. So corrections, if you are taken from a calibration certificate, mention that. Constants like value of G, value of densities, etc. So from where you got those values? So value of density you might have taken from some tables, log tables. So give that and give their source and give their uncertainties, etc. Or how did you compute their uncertainties? Okay, so that is the general information. Then how do you finally give the measurement result? So ISO actually recommends to give the combined standard uncertainty, and they suggest 4 ways. For example, if you are giving the standard mass MS equal to 100.02147 gram with a combined standard uncertainty UC equal to 0.35 milligram. Okay, so 0.35 milligram is 0.00035 milligram. So you see that you can see that the number of digits correspond to the number of digits in the uncertainty. Okay, so this is one method. This is the average and this is the standard uncertainty, combined standard uncertainty. So a more elaborate form you can give in brackets. MS equal to 100.02147 within brackets 35 G, where the number in parentheses is the numerical value of the combined standard uncertainty UC referred to the corresponding last digits of the quoted result. So this, the number in parentheses is UC, that is combined standard uncertainty. So this is the decimal place is not given. So this refers to the corresponding last digits of the quoted result. So this 35 corresponds to last 2 digits of this result. So that is correspond to the position of 47. That is 0.00035. Okay, so this is the same result expressed in another fashion. Then third fashion, MS equal to 100.02147 within brackets 0.00035 gram, where the number in parentheses is the numerical value of the combined standard uncertainty UC expressed in the unit of the quoted result. In the previous method, we said 35 corresponded to these 2 digits. So now you give the proper decimal place for the number in brackets. So this is microgram, so milligram, so 0.00035 gram. So this is another way to express the measurement result. And this is slightly confusing way. So anyway, this was the recommendation given the standard earlier, so they have not changed anything. So I presume this may get changed sooner or later, because from the industry practice this is creating confusion. So MS equal to 100.02147 plus or minus 0.00035 gram, where the number following the symbol plus minus is the numerical value of the combined standard uncertainty UC and not a confidence interval. So plus minus, the symbol, the number following the symbol plus minus. So this is the number following the symbol plus minus is the numerical value of the combined standard uncertainty UC. So this is the combined standard uncertainty and not a confidence interval. Because this plus minus always usually we use for a confidence interval or coverage interval. So this is a little confusing method, so I also don't recommend usage of this. So because industry usually prefers the other method using coverage interval. So this is using combined standard uncertainty. Okay, so if you are using combined standard uncertainty, you can write using one of the four methods. Then when using coverage interval or this is expanded uncertainty, so that is used to calculate the coverage interval plus or minus capital U. So MS equal to 100.02147 plus or minus 0.00079 gram. So 35 has become 79. Where the number following the symbol plus minus is the numerical value of an expanded uncertainty capital U equal to K into UC. With capital U is, that is expanded uncertainty determined from a combined standard uncertainty UC equal to 0.35 milligram and a coverage factor K equal to 2.26 based on the T degrees of freedom. So this must be the FT degrees of freedom using the well-certified formula. So based on that, nu equal to 9, you calculate or you get the coverage factor as 2.26, then you multiply 2.26 by UC and get this 0.0079. So how this is obtained is explained and defines an interval estimated to have a level of confidence of 95%. So whenever you are giving expanded uncertainty, you have to give what is the level of confidence. So that is 95%. So this is using expanded uncertainty. So the two limits define the coverage interval. Okay. So in our problem, I will always ask for upper coverage interval, lower coverage interval. So in EduServer, there will be boxes for that. So you don't have to think much about this. So you are asked for coverage interval, you have to calculate coverage interval, upper and lower. If you write something else, plus or minus and all, EduServer will not give you mark. Okay, so this is one. When you are using coverage interval. Then number of digits. How many digits should be there in the result? Do not give excessive number of digits. I think you have learned in your +1 text also it is mentioned. Do not give excessive number of digits. But there they use some other rule, but the GUM recommends a rule based on the uncertainty. So at most 2 digits, but sometimes more may be required to avoid round-off errors in subsequent calculations. So this is for the uncertainty. For the uncertainty, both combined standard uncertainty or expanded uncertainty give only 2 digits. But sometimes if you are the initial stage, you may have to keep more digits. Then only your final answer will be having 2 digits. So EduServer also 1% is the tolerance, but initially you need to keep 3 or 4 digits. So best is to use your calculator or the complete power of Excel. So automatically it will come. Otherwise, the round-off errors may accumulate. For example, if you are measuring the weight of medicine in a bottle, you measure the weight of medicine plus bottle, and you measure the weight of bottle alone, and you find the difference. So since the weight of the bottle is high, weight of the medicine will be small. When you take the difference, the number of digits in the difference will be very much less. So that difference, the uncertainty should be 2 digits. So you have to be careful about that. So regression also we have that problem. When you calculate the residuals, you should get at least 2 digits for each residual. Otherwise your residuals will not be correct. So round up in general. So uncertainty, always round up. Okay. So that is again, this is little confusing recommendation given in the GUM because it's difficult to apply it in using a program. So combined standard uncertainty of y equal to 10.47 might be rounded to 11 milliohm, but use common sense. 28.05 kilohertz may be rounded to 28 kilohertz. So 28.05, they are not suggesting that you should round up to 29. So this, but anyway, common sense becomes very difficult to define. So this is little confusing for me. So uncertainty, always round up. So we have seen the Welch-Sartrowitz formula also, the degrees of freedom is always rounded down. So when you reduce the degrees of freedom, the coverage factor will increase and the uncertainty will increase. So uncertainty, we always try to keep it on the higher side. So round off to the same digits. For example, if y equal to 10.05762 ohms with combined standard uncertainty 27 milliohms, so 27 milliohms means 0.00027 ohms. So that means 0.00027. So this 62 and all may not be meaningful, so it should be rounded off to 10.058 ohms. Okay, because there is uncertainty in this 2 and 6, they are uncertain. So you should round off to 10.058 ohms. So correlation coefficients should be given with 3-digit accuracy if their absolute values are near unity. That is maybe above 0.9 or so, we should give the correlation coefficient to 3 digits. For lower than 0.9, maybe 2 digits are enough for correlation coefficient. Because near 1, even small change may make a large difference. So this is the rule regarding rounding. So there is a practice exercise in EduServer, followed by a final quiz. Okay, this I will open today, but okay, you have time up to next Sunday to do that. So I suggest that please you do the quizzes every day so that you finish whatever is taken in class. Same day you finish the quiz, then it will be easy. Okay, you will remember and it will help you to refresh at home today itself. Then this topic also it will be easier to remember. Okay, so the more time interval between your revisions, the more you will forget. Okay, so first revision should be same day night. So if you should revise same day night, then it will be, your memory will be better. Then maybe if you read next week also, you may be able to recall what you have learned today. Otherwise, of course, your memory is, so what you recall will be reduced exponentially. The amount will be reduced exponentially. So after just 5 minutes, you may remember 90%, but after 1 hour, you may remember only 50% of what you have learned in the class. Okay, so that is how to round off. Detailed report. How do you give the report of the computation of uncertainty? Give each input estimate and its standard uncertainty. So whatever is the input value, what is its average, what is its standard uncertainty. See? Give estimated covariances or correlation coefficients associated with correlated input estimates. So wherever two variables are correlated, their correlation coefficient should be given. Correlation coefficient or covariance should be given. Then give degrees of freedom for the standard uncertainty of each input. So each input, what is the degrees of freedom? So for all type B evaluation, we assume to be infinity. Okay, for only for type A evaluation, repeated readings are there. How many readings are there? N-1 will be the degrees of freedom. So in regression, of course, you have to take N-2, regression for a straight line, regression for a second degree equation, you have to take degrees of freedom N-3. So give the functional relationship and sensitivity coefficient. So what is the function connecting the result to the input quantities and the sensitivities? So all this should be given. So that is how we compute, how we should report the uncertainty. Finally, how do we write the result of a measurement? Okay, so most important thing is measurement uncertainty should have how many digits? Just 2 digits. Okay, and the measurement result should be rounded off to match the number of digits in the uncertainty. Okay, so that completes the reporting.